All right, good evening, everyone. I hope everyone's doing well. Welcome to CB3's Executive Committee meeting for the month of November 2022. Give me 1 second. I pull up my agenda. It's not popping up really quick. There we go. All right, so we're going to start with attendance. Kenyal, you're on. You can go with attendance, please.
Okay, hi everyone. Paul Rangel,
Here.
Eric Diaz,
Present, yes.
Tariq Darrell,
Here.
Larissa Scheinberg,
Present.
Kenya Hernandez, present. Herman Hewitt, absent. Mei Lee,
Yes.
Anisha Steffen,
Here.
Michelle Cooper-Smith,
Present.
Trevor Holland,
Present.
David Crane. Okay,
He won't be on for like another 10 minutes, so he'll be part of the final attendance. All right. Also on the call is Jake Gold. Just want to make that aware to everyone. All right, so let's keep going. The minutes got sent out a couple weeks ago. Are there any revisions that need to be made from either of the last 2 months' minutes? I believe September and October got sent out a couple weeks ago. Hearing none, minutes approved for both months. All right. This will go into now my report. So out of respect for the holidays coming up and the executive order and the fact that it's about 30 degrees outside, I decided to keep us on Zoom for this month. And just to give us all some, in case people were traveling, I know a lot of people were coming back from traveling, and I just wanted to make sure we were all good and we could go on Zoom for tonight. We'll probably be back to face in December. I was at Borough Board this morning. The borough president has a very similar theme to when I give these messages about the executive orders. They know as much as we know, and they don't get a head start as to knowing when an executive order will get extended. So right now, the executive order is going to expire next week. Now, whether it gets extended by end of next week, we'll figure that out. They may probably, and it's been the mayor that's been extending the executive orders, not the governor. It's been the mayor and the city's executive orders. Now, if it is extended, we will be virtual. If not, then we have to go back to face-to-face. This month, though, full board will be on Zoom. I do understand a lot of people are traveling, gives people opportunities to come on and get on and be able to count for their attendance, because even though we had quorum last month face-to-face, we were still pretty low attendance-wise. I think we barely cleared 30-something in attendance, so hopefully this will get us right back up for Zoom. It's been pretty good so far. It's been a quiet month. I know a lot of people have gone away. You know, Susan just literally got back from Iceland, 12 hours ago. So she just got back. I know a lot of people are traveling. So it's the holiday season, and we have our board elections coming up in a couple of days. And I see Alicia joined the call. We'll get to the nominating committee in a little bit. So it's going to be pretty simple for the rest of the way. If the executive order does get extended, we will move to a virtual format for next month. If not, then we have to find places, which is easier said than done. Another thing on agenda items, if you've not responded, you should have responded by now on your agendas. I had a meeting this morning with my own staff, and it's funny, we were talking about deadlines and timelines and response times, and we were talking about 24-hour timelines and 2 days to respond. I kind of almost want to see something similar here. When you know you're about to finalize your agenda, you shouldn't have to wait till exec. Should probably be done at least with a week in advance of exec. So everything can be locked in and guests can be invited. There's no need for the office to chase down committee chairs or for myself to reach out. A lot of you are experienced with this. You should have this done way ahead of time, whether if you have one item or two items or three items on, and those items need to be locked in, get it done. It makes all of our lives a lot easier. So that way there's no emails flying around with 5 minutes left. Oh, can we do this? Can we do this? No, just try to do it within a reasonable time frame for everybody to get invited. Right? It is can't automatically just assume that, oh, this is going to happen or this is going to get taken care of. And that is not always going to be the case. We have to take ownership of our agenda items, our agendas, and being set and being ready. Your responsibilities are just as much as the office's responsibilities. Everybody works hand in hand and in tandem. So that's my message on that. We're going to talk about social media in a little bit and some new changes that we're going that way, and we'll talk through. I believe do have it on the agenda for today. Yeah, at number 6. So we'll get to that. Some exciting news there. That's really about it. I do have a meeting scheduled, hopefully for December 1st for cannabis, not to consume, but to figure out what we're going to do. To figure out
All
what
excited.
what we're gonna do as a community board. The borough president's office has reached out to me personally this morning. After borough board, I brought up some questions. I said, we still have a lot of questions. I know there's a public hearing this Monday in regards to some of the rules and the regulations and some of the city governance and some of the bodies like us, the community boards that will play a role in some of the licensing applications. But what does that officially look like? So I am working hard and diligently to try to get all that information to all of us. And if it means creating a whole new committee just for cannabis, then that's what's going to happen. I do want all of you. Yeah, I know. Don't look at me, Michelle. I see you. If that means that's where we go with it, that means that's where we go with it. I don't know how we can do this. I asking them for guidance, and they are going to meet with me, and they're going to meet with Susan as well on hopefully December 1st, so we can know what we have to do. Even if it means that the board just is notified and we don't offer a very specific comment just yet, even if it's just that we want to know we're doing things correctly on our end and according to this new law. But there's always been a lot more questions than there have been answers on all of this. We've been talking about this for months, and I'm still confused. Other boards are doing different things. They have it in an equity committee or in their human services committee, or they have had it. Not every board is doing this the same way. But I do want to know how it's going to be best effective for us and what makes us have the ability to do it. That it's going to be a challenge. Hopefully we'll get that done. That's about it for my report. I didn't want to go into too much today. Go ahead, Trevor.
I'm just going to restate that I think we need to do something, and I know other community boards are struggling with how to do it. I know there are at least 16 to 20 that have popped up around me, all of them selling whatever. And I know they're saying that they're not going to give licenses to people who or stores who are doing it illegally. I know there was a big bust today in Brooklyn for some shop that was just basically selling weed, not even disguising it, but I don't think anyone's disguising it. But I think we need to play a role. Otherwise, other community groups are going to do something. I've talked to other people about how they're going to regulate, but it's the equivalent of if alcohol or wine stores are coming into a neighborhood and we give no opinion about it, in terms of how close they are to schools. I don't even know what the rules are, but I think we need to figure out a way to have some opinion on it that means something. Or basically say, okay, community groups, you take a hold of this and you police it the way you want to.
Yeah, I think that's been somewhat part of the issue. They've kind of not told us what we have to do. They said there's some licenses that we're gonna have an opinion on, but there's like 8 or 9 different license types. And, you know, we met with one of the assembly members a couple weeks ago, and it seemed like we were spinning our wheels trying to figure out what do we exactly do. Yes, do we have to do something? Probably. How do we do it is the real question. So I hear you, Trevor, and I'm sure we can think about some of those ideas and strategies down the line. Susan, I see your hand up.
Yeah, I was going to say the first thing we need to find out is what we can do. Are we allowed to have stipulations? Are we allowed to deny anyone? Or is it just a notification system to check a box? I think what we're seeing, and the police have been very involved because smoke shops are popping up all over. They're causing quite a problem already, besides the fact that they're illegally selling. Besides that, they're having events. That what they seem to be doing is being attracted to the areas that are heavily saturated with liquor licenses, because they get particularly the weekend night traffic. They are setting stands out on the sidewalk. They're having huge amplifiers out on the sidewalk. So the police are already involved. They're attracting a lot of attention. There's already been an application, but St. Mark's is particularly bad. There's already been an application there from a gang member. So, we got to see, does it go to the police first? Will we get the police reports? So I think those are all things that we have to find out.
And just add one thing, and I don't know if it's apparent in other neighborhoods, is that the whole purpose of this cannabis licensing was to make sure that the disadvantaged were able to get these licenses first. And I will say that I'm not seeing that at all. A lot of people are putting a stake in the ground right now in hopes that they will get a license and a corner. And that's why they're taking up every corner. I've also noticed that crime tends to follow on the corner of Rutgers and Madison, which is one of the worst corners in all of the Lower East Side, where there have been 3 shootings and 2 deaths. We have the police tower and a 24-hour police car that's there every day, every night, watching. So I don't know the best way. I just hope that we're able to do something.
Danielle, go ahead.
I agree that we should have some type of say if we can, right? Because it will get out of hand. And if we can set stipulations, it would also be beneficial to us as a community. So I agree with Trevor and Susan.
I understand that. I just want to make sure we have the expertise and the knowledge and know what we actually have to do. I hear you. I think we will have some kind of role. What that looks like is still to be determined. All
I
right.
think you should go for training for expertise, Paul.
Well, yes, we're trying. That's why I'm putting all these meetings together.
No, I wasn't. Well, I was making it.
Oh, that kind of training. No,
Okay.
no. Thank you, though. Appreciate it. It'll go up in smoke, literally. All right. So thank you. All right. That is it for my report. Susan, district manager's report.
Sure. Just a few things I'm going to mention. Next week, I will be out Wednesday. The office will be closed Friday. We always close the Friday after Thanksgiving, and the staff takes a vacation day. That means that we must post the agenda on Wednesday. It must be finalized because I won't be here. So I believe the emergency order terminates on the 22nd, and it'll be the day before our full board. So we have to have ready where we're going to meet. And then, you know, at that point, like by Tuesday night, pick one or the other, but we have to have option A, either Zoom for everything or an option. So I guess I will have one day to work on that. I will email all the chairs. It would be really great if I could get answers from everyone. And as far as the agenda items, it does have to be finalized by the exec, or have the items on. There are some that are tentative, and we may find out on Thursday or Friday, either they're going through or they're not going through, but there are items that are already discussed. The agencies or whoever would be presenting will, you know either they're going to be presenting or it'll be the following month. So, you know, some of them are tentative, but they're not new, you know, brand new. So I guess that's what I have to say about the agenda. We'll see. I hope everybody reads what was sent to them today for the agenda and responds. And that's about it. I think for this first month, we'll certainly have to have, is there somebody to come in? Oh, David came in as a, I think for this first month that we'll certainly try as much as possible to have meetings in the office and have them be hybrid. I think it depends on the meeting and what's being presented, but I think certainly for SLA, we would want to do that hybrid and have some kind of statement that only a small number of people will be, you know, there'll be room for only a small number of people in the office, and we encourage people, the public, you know, to join by Zoom. And I will say some boards are just going rogue and they're just going to stay on Zoom for at least another month.
Trevor?
Susan, just a note on the agenda, unless Steve Simon calls you, your best buddy calls you last minute, I don't think we have anything on for the agenda. So this may be a first, but we probably will not meet in December.
Okay.
Because I'm not going to just have a meeting for a Parks Manager update.
I think there's, so it's, I mean, Steve would have called me by now if he was going to. So I'll just take that off the agenda. Thank you for letting me know.
And if you do get anything last minute, I mean, if it can be pushed to January, I would prefer it unless we have to do it.
There is nothing that's going to be have to by the state. I mean, when they give us stuff even late, it's never this late. They always, they will always call first and say, you know, what is the date? You know, when do you have to know, that kind of thing.
So for the first time in 3 years, we may not have a meeting.
Okay, sounds good to me.
Nisha?
Susan, I know that you just got back, but I was wondering if you heard anything more from EDC.
I haven't, and I was going to follow up, but I haven't, but I'm assuming, I mean, we're talking about JG, who absolutely knows how the board runs. So she knows that they had their meeting last Thursday. They were going to decide at that meeting if they were going to want to be on in December. So I'm just going to assume that they're not, and we will not have a separate land use meeting. We'll just have the joint meeting.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Any other questions? That's it, Susan? Just give me the thumbs up. You're good. That's fine. All right. Okay, so we're gonna move on to the next topic. I saw Alicia on before. Alicia, you want to give us a nominating committee update?
Hey, everyone. Good evening, and thank you for allowing me to be here tonight. So yeah, the nominating committee met, and we basically are trying to do the same thing, the same roll call vote, the same one that was done for Kenyelle. So when she took office, and I would run off the names of the every person on the board, all the board members, and they would give me a yes or a no or an abstain for each position and each name, instead of us having to go into this Google Docs and all of that, because some people are having difficulties with technology. I'm technology challenged myself. I'm not gonna, tell any jokes about it. I'm the truth. And so we just decided that this would be probably the easiest way of doing it, and to go person by person. And we would all I'm calling off the names. Larry and everyone else would have a copy of the people's names as well. And they will be making sure that the answers are all the same. We will break out into a breakout room after we take the last vote. And then we would convey before the closing remarks of the full board meeting and give the results. This is because it's not being contested. I mean, all the positions are, every name is one name. It doesn't look like there's no need for us to have any technicalities because it's all the same people running for office, except for one person. I think it's the treasurer's position. And so they're all one person votes. Yeah, so regards, any remarks, any questions, comments, or concerns?
You said except for the treasurer's position, there's.
It's a new person.
It's
Okay.
still on
there's
an unopposed position, but it's a new person.
Unopposed position, but new person. Okay, yeah. Yep. Susan, I see your hand.
Sure. So I'm going to send an attendance sheet to you and you can send it to your committee. That's correct?
That's fine. Yep.
And then I don't know if you saw my email. So Paul's going to do the breakout room.
I'll set up the breakout room during the full board meeting on Tuesday for you guys
Okay.
to convene after it's done.
And so it sounds like that's all we need to do. I mean, that's all you need. All you need from me is the attendance sheet. And then for technology, you just need the breakup room set up, which Paul will do, and that's it, right?
That
sounds like
correct.
it.
That is
Okay.
all I.
David,
Yep.
Oh.
I'm sorry. We should have we have nothing on the vote sheet that says who's running. People should know who's running, right? It just
Okay,
occurred to me.
so if you have nothing on the vote sheet, I will definitely get the names of all the officers that are running. Yeah, I think that's just a simple fix.
So we'll put that under the nominating committee because we have the nominated. So you all got a copy of the vote sheet today. And you
Yeah,
have,
so it would be, okay, Susan, so what it would be is we would take, after the first roll call, we would then go into the election and we will close only to people that are there for the first attendance. If they're not there during the attendance, then they will not be able to vote. So if they're not present when the attendance is called, the roll call is done, then they will be locked out of the election.
okay, I don't think you need.
I think that's what we've done in the past.
I don't think you need to send me the names because it's just the current people plus the one change. But I need to, I guess we'll just put it before the first committee report then, or before actually we'll put it in after the roll call. We'll put nominating committee, we'll put it
Yes.
on the vote sheet because we don't have anything from the nominating committee on the vote sheet. So we'll create something and put nominating committee, and then we'll list the officers running, our people running for which office.
Yeah, that would be great, Susan. Thank you. I appreciate that. David?
Sounds great for all the reasons you said. I'm technology challenged too. But I just wanted to make sure that we've double checked. We used to, I don't know the reason why, and I should be able to answer it. So I'm going to ask y'all. We used to have to sign the ballot for some reason, and then we had to pass I think we had to pass a bylaws change to be able to do these votes electronically with a Google Sheet. So I'm just making sure that this is going to be okay to do it by roll call. I know we did it last year.
It's always been okay to do by roll call. It's just that the board didn't want to do it. They didn't want to
Yeah,
say.
so they wanted, even though it's a public vote, they didn't want to make people say
They
it or
didn't
whatever.
want to, they
That's
didn't want.
Okay, I understand. Now, I'm a little uncomfortable about saying if you're not there for the roll call, you're not going to be able to vote on this. It's not that for any other kind of vote. No,
Well,
previously.
I mean, we're not going to go back and forth with people, David.
Well, no, it just.
We're not going to go back and forth with people if they're not there, they can't vote.
But they can on the other things. You call their name, and if they're suddenly there, they get to vote. And if not, you just say apparently absent and go to the next one, or still absent or something. I don't know. Is there?
What we used to do is distribute paper ballots. And if people weren't there, they didn't get a ballot and they didn't vote. And we did that right after the roll call. So it's essentially the same thing. It was the roll call,
Correct.
distribution of paper ballots, collection of paper ballots. So if someone came late, they didn't vote. And
Okay,
I
so we'll do it
I
the same
remember
way.
people purposely walking out of the room because they didn't want to go on record of how they voted.
Well, I mean, of course. So, but I still, well, unless these two things are very close together, but on the other hand, everywhere else, we just call down the roll, and if they're still not present, they still don't vote. And if they are present, they do get to vote. It makes me uncomfortable.
Okay. I see two hands. May, Michelle, go. May.
Okay, so I used to be a nominating committee chair. I think I was a chair for 1 year only, or maybe 2. We, it was during the time of paper ballots. So if you weren't there for the collection, for the dissemination and collection of paper ballots, you missed the vote, in terms of it. And I don't recall the names of ever being, they didn't have to be put on a vote sheet, but I mean, the election that I was nominating committee chair for was a highly contested election. And whether or not it is highly contested, it's maybe a good idea to send the whole board an email about the final list of candidates. Mm-hmm. And then they'll get that at the meeting too. But they go into the meeting also with the list, although it's not necessarily on the vote sheet.
Yeah,
but it wasn't. So that the 2 times that I did it, it was not on the vote sheet. But I did send an email to the whole board. So these are the people you'll be voting on. And I made sure to do that because it was highly contested.
Right. That was actually my intention this weekend after this meeting. We were going to send out email to the entire board, the members, not the public members, but the voting members, to let them know the final names of the people that were running for office, and to explain to them that they need to be present at roll call vote, the first roll call vote, so that they can vote. And if they're not present, they will not be able to vote because we were going to skip over their name. Michelle?
I administered the vote last year, and that is exactly what we did. If you weren't present at first roll call, this was in digital times, so it's not a new thing.
Mm-hmm. You do know that I ran nominating committee as well before. That was my very first role on the community board. So this is not new to me. It's just the technology part is new. May, you had another question?
No, you're putting. No, she's got to put her hand down.
All
right.
What's the name of the room you guys are talking about at the end? I forgot.
I'm sorry?
You mentioned the name of a room at the end of the vote.
Yes, so we were going to go to a
breakout room. Okay.
So the breakout room is they're established so that you can have like a private session within the Zoom meeting. And so what we would do as the committee members, we would go into the breakout room just to make sure that we heard all the votes properly. And then I will come back and report at the end of meeting to let everyone know the results of the election.
Great, thank you. I was clarifying for writing purposes.
Thank you.
Absolutely, thank you.
Alicia, thank you for your service, and thank you for running the election this year.
Absolutely, no problem. It's my last hoorah.
Thank you. You don't have to stay on, but if you want to stay on, feel free.
Nope. Bye. See y'all.
Bye. He doesn't miss this at all. All right, let's go on to the next agenda item for tonight. Now that I lost my place. All right, so we talked about vice chair roles. And I sent out, well, Susan sent out on my behalf a draft. I do want to make a minor change on the vice chair roles. I did initially say I want everybody to have a vice chair. I am going to go back on that. It will be at the discretion of the committee chair, so whether or not they want to have a vice chair or not. I don't want to force it upon you if there's absolutely no need. But the one thing I will want from all the committee chairs is to have a Zoom facilitator. Make sure you appoint one sooner than later. That's outside of what we're talking about right now, but always to have a Zoom facilitator. If that person happens to be your vice chair as well, that would be ideal, or they can appoint the Zoom facilitator. But I hope you take a look at this. We can look through it right now together. It is a draft. This would go into the committee chairs handbook. The top part is the current language. Committee chairs decide whether or not to have a vice chair and or secretary, and should discuss that with the board chair. So the change I said I would like to make is every committee chair will appoint a vice chair and secretary, and we'll discuss with the board chair. I'll just go back to the original language of committee chairs will decide whether or not you will have a vice chair or not, and or secretary to take minutes for your committees. But the thing that should stick is the responsibilities of the committee vice chair. I do have 5 bullets there. If there's any changes you would like to see made on there, please let me know. To conduct, do you all want me to share my screen, or do you want to pull it up on your own? Share screen?
I pulled it up on my own, but
Okay.
I don't know about the others.
This is mainly for the committee chairs. You let me know if this is good or not. I will keep the original bolded language of committee chairs can decide whether or not you have a vice chair or not. It'd be cool if you had one. Might make your life a little bit easier in case you can't make a meeting, or you can't join a call or anything like that. This could help with that, and it's also building more leaders throughout the board. I think that gives us that opportunity as well, to build some more leadership and people to do some more work throughout the board by getting a vice chair or somebody who can kind of understand everything that's going on this end. There's 5 bullets there to conduct. Sorry, I keep going back and forth. To conduct the committee meeting in case the committee chair is unable to do so for that month in accordance with the CB3 bylaws and Robert's Rules of Order. In the virtual meeting setting shall be the Zoom facilitator, or shall appoint the Zoom facilitator if this position has not yet been filled for all virtual committee meetings. If approved by the committee chair, to confer with committee chair and to join any or go instead of the committee chair to any preparatory meetings, discussions for any potential agenda items if approved by the committee chair. And I'll clean up this language, and to confer with the committee chair and send out any correspondence to committee members, district office, and or the board chair if approved, and confer with committee chair to respond to the district office of the board chair in any matters related to the committee. It's very simple. It's kind of just your backup. I'll clean up the language for that. Any questions? I think it's similar to I think it kind of captured everything we talked about last month. Thumbs up, thumbs down. I got thumbs up. May.
Thumbs up. Yeah, thumbs
There
up.
we go. Yeah, no, I got to see the
Oh, I do
thumbs.
have a question
Thumbs
though.
up.
There we go, May. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, my committee has a secretary, but don't all the committees have a secretary? And
I
shouldn't
believe
they?
I think everybody has a secretary or somebody who takes their minutes. I believe mostly everyone does.
I think except landmarks.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Either way, if this is fine, we'll put this in. I'll clean up some of that language just to make it look nicer. everyone really needs to get a Zoom facilitator. There's always this outside chance that we're always going to get these executive orders extended. We'll be on Zoom forever. So you need to have that person set up. I know most committees do. Trevor, I think we really got to find somebody for you to lock it in. Maybe it's maybe it is was it Mr. Tanow? I know he's done it a couple of times. Maybe you can have a conversation with him, see if it could be
No,
more of a permanent thing.
I have, it's that when we appointed our vice chairs and secretaries, we weren't looking at whether they could handle the technical responsibilities, and none of them can handle the technical responsibilities. Daniel will do it. He just doesn't want to do it. And I don't see anyone else in my committee. Well, this is being recorded.
Okay, we can talk about that. Why? Yeah, we can chat about that committee. I know you're pretty much set. I know land use is pretty much set. Transportation is set. I just, we got to make sure everyone's locked in so that way we're not rushing to open a room or anything like that. All right, so if there's no questions on that, then thank you, and I look forward to putting that into the new committee chairs handbook. All right, let's go on to our next item. Social media. I'm gonna turn it over to Tariq. So a couple of things. Tariq and I got together about a couple of weeks ago to Larissa, can you put yourself on mute?
Oh,
Chronically.
sorry.
It's okay. Tariq created for us the CB3 Instagram account. And he did a wonderful job with it. We're going to share the handle with all of you in a few minutes, and we'll share that handle with everybody at the full board. We'll give all the necessary information over to the district office today. Kind of kept everybody in the dark on this, so we can hear about it today. Should be interesting. I like this idea. I think we've always kind of liked this idea. I liked what he's done with it. So thank you, Tariq. Tariq, if you want to take over and just talk a little bit more about what it's going to look like and like the link that's inside of it, I think it's going to be really cool. Go ahead.
Yeah, so thanks, Paul. The handle for the CB3 Instagram is basically at Manhattan CB3. So that's the handle. Currently, right now, we have 8 followers and we're following 7 people, which is so great. But to give you just some insights, we have about 3 posts on there right now. One just like a district map that just gives like a welcome, like CB3 is here. I started to play around a little bit with kind of an update. I did it for, I think, May, your meeting, I did it for Health and Human Services, where it was like just announcing, hey, that meeting is tonight, and kind of a link to the Zoom so that people can go in. So I did that in the IG story. And then there's a Manhattan Borough President, Mark Levine. He had posted a flyer about leadership trainings on his Instagram that I just shared on our Instagram. So with all of those 3 posts, we actually, with 8 followers and only following 7 people, we actually reached out almost 100 accounts in the past 30 days. So I think as we engage a bit more on the page, we could actually reach more people in the community. So I think it will be an interesting platform just with that kind of algorithm to play around with. And I posted a reel, which reels are have a little more attention from the community and people can share it. So the best thing as community board members is to go and follow. If you have an Instagram account, to go and follow, because then we can play with our audiences and get people to our page. The bio is pretty standard across. Paul and I looked at community boards across and just tried to figure out basic language that we can put in the bio. And then there is a link, which is a Linktree link. If you go there, there are 3 kind of basic links that we have. One of them will get updated once the agenda is posted for the following month. that'll take us to this main CB3 website page, right? So it'll take them to all the meetings for the month. The other link is the sign up public speaker form. And that link, the title will say like, please fill this out, due by this date, right? So people can go right there. It takes them to the main website, right? To fill out that form if they want to speak at a meeting, right? At the public meeting, right? I forgot what the other link is, but it's something there. I can't remember what it is.
The mailing list.
Mailing list. And if you want to join our mailing list, so it has that form as well on there, and it takes everything, directs on the link tree from the Instagram. It just directs them to the main website. So it doesn't do, it's nothing else. It goes right to the main website, right to the district office, as it would normally if they went to the website. But that's really it. The main thing Paul and I were talking about as the agenda items are getting created for the next month. If there's joint meetings, if there's a flyer that needs to be created, that if I'm able to know right now, since I'm kind of managing it right now, if I'm able to know, I can then come to these exec meetings with draft flyers that can then get approved to be posted on the page in advance, right? So just whatever that calendar is, I would love to collaborate with you all, Susan, Paul, and figure that out as well. But that's really an update from me on social media. I see, Susan, you have a hand.
Yeah, first of all, I think the idea of getting that information at the exec is really good. And I actually put it on as an agenda item, which I would like to do every month. So people, because they have their agendas set and in front of them. And, it's nothing, when you leave the meeting, there's nothing to trigger you to remember. So I thought it would be a good idea. I assume you guys read the guidelines, the city guidelines, right? So yeah, I figured it'd be pretty simple for that. So I guess everybody, how do we decide who to follow?
Paul and I, I'll say here, but Paul and I just followed our kind of local electeds, right? That kind of come and meet that we would be collaborating with. Those are the ones that we followed right now. We don't want to just follow any community members or anything. There are going to be moments, just like Zoom, when you can need to mute everybody. There might be moments where we need to turn off comments on posts, right? Depending how people, but we have control to delete posts, if anything, to delete comments and all of that, if they are insane. But we have the ability to turn off comments on the page as well.
Okay, so if you'll send us, because we have on our website, we have the Facebook and Twitter. Twitter might go away. But we should take off the Facebook until we get the new one. So yeah, if you'll send us everything tomorrow, so we'll put the link on, and I assume from now on we'll be following the same procedures for posting that we had for Twitter, and so that I'll see, it'll come to me also. Okay, so yeah, so we'll put this stuff. I think it is exciting. I'll put, I'd like to get the account on our website tomorrow morning, or sometime tomorrow if we can get it. Just the link.
I got you. Trevor, you have your hand up.
I think it's safe that we could follow city agencies, DOT, all that, and that gives us at least a few more that would probably follow us back pretty easily.
Yeah, we'll do that. I think when we were doing this on a Sunday afternoon, I was watching football, so forgive me. We follow just our elected officials that come to us at our community board meetings. Those are the ones we followed. We decided to follow, including the mayor, even though he's never shown up. So just that. Go ahead, Susan.
I was going to say, for the agencies, we don't want to do, we can maybe just pick the ones that we really deal with, like parks and transportation and that kind of stuff, so we don't get overwhelmed. So
feel free to give a follow. It'd be good. We'll talk. We'll announce it again at full board to let everybody know. I think it's going to be a great way of engagement. To played around with some stuff for real, sharing an agenda. So kind of an idea of what we've wanted to do this entire time. To now that we're moving into December and the new year, to have a new way of engaging the community on different things. Yep.
And if I
Sure.
could just mention that I did send you flyers today
Yeah.
for the gun buyback to put
I'm-
on that.
I'm gonna send those over. Yep. So I also have access to the Instagram account. So it's not just Tariq, I do as well. So if some nonsense happens on there, I can get to it too. It's really cool. I do like the link. So sometimes people say to us, oh, I can't find the public speaker form for the full board. Guess what? Go on the Instagram account. There's a link right to it. Boom. Go ahead.
No,
I see
I'll-
David and I see
ahead.
David and then Susan.
Oh, I was gonna say that I think we have our first community follower. Zelda likes it. Oh, well, whatever.
Good try, David. Yes,
Well, that's the
Susan.
name of the account. Yeah, it's hers.
Okay. Go ahead, Susan.
I was just going to say, I think the joint meet, I mean, this is actually a separate agenda item, but I think the joint land use, human services meeting would be worth promoting.
Agreed. All right. So I guess that flows into the agenda items supposed to promote on social media. Is that right? The joint item. Is there anything else that we need to promote for next month? I don't know. This will always be time to say, so if there's something for parks, if there's something for transportation, if there's something for SLA, anything that you want posted, exec would be the time to share that information while Tariq's gonna kind of manage all of this in the interim. Yeah, go ahead, Tariq.
Well, that's what I was gonna ask. Is this something, I know previously there was like, the roles of second vice chair and there was a social media person. Is this something that we would?
We would have to change that in the bylaws. So right now you're dual second vice chair, social media manager. How about that?
Sounds great.
Like Bruce Wayne and Batman. All right. Okay. Anything else on this? I hope everyone likes it. I think it's going to be cool going forward. All right. That being said, let me go over into my. Sorry, I'm going back and forth through my laptop today. All right. Let's go with committee reports, SLA.
We denied one application and we approved the rest along with, there's one withdrawal at the meeting. I believe one of those approvals has not signed their STIPs because they're being a pain in the ass. So we'll update on Tuesday.
I guess that's a good way to describe it. Thank you, Michelle. Any questions?
Did you say one approval, one denial?
Sorry, no, just one withdrawal.
One
And
withdrawal.
one
Okay.
denial. One
Say-
denial.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Trevor Parks.
Just regular updates, no resolutions.
All right, David, transportation.
It was a pretty uneventful meeting.
Wow. Okay. All right, May, Human Services.
Hi, so we, the main thing we did last month was agenda item planning. And, so we have a lot of different topics that, came up that we want to put on future agendas, related to health and education and schools and youth. One of the things that kind of was a constant theme was this whole thing about mental health, whether it's related to seniors, whether it's related to the school children a little bit, and also relates to the families of the children in school. And it was a little bit like, there's this big need and there's all these providers, but we sort of need to map them out a little bit more or have an assessment of who they actually are. So we didn't think we should have a meeting about it, or maybe we should, but one of the ideas that I kind of came up with is, if we're getting an urban fellow next year, it could be like an urban fellow project, to map out those mental health and wellness resources. because it's just become a much larger issue in the community, especially after the pandemic. You know, and it still is. So that's one thing. And we came up with a lot of education issues, you know, school and their learning loss. So we want to invite, you know, someone from D1 to come. And then another thing that was related to the jail that Alicia actually asked was that have there been any meetings about the new jail? Not about the construction, you know, not about, you know, the design and construction, but more about what it's going to look like, you know, for the detainees. So I
So
didn't
these are all
think they were.
future items? These are all future items that you were discussing?
Well, no, the jail is not. She's not. She
Okay,
just
no,
has a
but-
question. Yeah.
But you may want to go forward.
Yeah. The
Okay.
others are. Yeah. So
Okay.
that's it. Yeah.
All right.
So if there are, you know, we'd like to know about it.
All right.
But
Susan has a quick question.
Yeah, it's going to be a long time till we get another fellow, but we do have discretionary money. And it doesn't seem like a huge project. We could probably get a graduate level student to do that mapping out if you want.
oh, okay.
We could, you know, even host something at NYU or Pratt.
Okay.
Okay. Trevor, your hands up.
Yeah, just one quick thing. One of the committee members mentioned the resiliency projects that are going on at hospitals. And I think that would go with my committee, but I'm not exactly sure. I wouldn't obviously do it next month, but I know that, and I don't know the name of the hospital, but the one that's on 23rd has done some work to make sure they don't experience the same thing they experienced during Sandy. But it's not part of ESCR. It's not parks, but it is resiliency, but it's also hospital. So I was just trying to figure out where that might go.
I would think that would be more social human services.
Okay, I'm just making I'm not making a suggestion. Someone else made a suggestion because they are doing some flood protection for their buildings.
No, the 23rd Street is not in CB3, right? Is it?
Well, I'm not sure if it was on 23rd. It was one of the hospitals Val was talking about. I don't remember which one she was talking about.
Okay.
All right. So thank you, May. Land use didn't meet, correct, Tanisha?
No meeting.
All right. So that's that for that report. Sorry, I'm going through any old business. Any new business? All right, let's go with the final attendance vote. Whenever you're ready, Kenya.
Sorry, I have to unmute myself.
That's right.
Paul Rangel,
Yes.
Eric Diaz, Tariq Darrell,
Yes.
Larissa Scheinberg,
Yes.
Kenya Hernandez, yes. Herman Hewitt, absent. May Lee,
Oh, yes.
Anisha Stephen,
Yes.
Michelle Cooper Smith,
Yes.
Trevor Holland,
Yes.
David Crane.
Yes.
Thank you.
7:28. Did it in 58 minutes. Have a good night. See
Good
you all.
night.
See you all
Thank you.
Tuesday night. We are adjourned.
Da, 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 da.
I see you.